Thanks so much for joining us here on your Wednesday. JCPS heads back to class in just over 2 weeks, and all eyes are on the district to make good after last year's transportation disaster. You may remember some students did not get home until nearly 10 p.m. that first day. Taylor Woods and photojournalist Addie Hill heard directly from the JCPS superintendent about the improvements families can expect.
And obviously learned a lot of lessons from last year, the hard way.
JCPS Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio is feeling more prepared as the start of the school year is approaching. He gave this update. The district has 561 bus drivers and 510 routes that are ready.
Our first scrimmage day is really August 1st, so they will have their completed routes with it done by that time.
JCPS is still counting on 70 TARC drivers coming to the district. 12 TARC drivers already have their special license, known as the S license. 58 of them are in the process of getting licensed.
But as these 58, which we're confident a significant number, and hopefully all of them will pass the S license training and have that done in the next 2 weeks.
Polio said once these TARC drivers pass their tests, he wants to bring a significant amount of students back into the transportation fold, but that won't happen until after school starts.
We will be focusing on free and reduced lunch at Mail, Manual, and Butler, and then all students at Johnson Traditional, Coleridge Taylor, and Young Elementary.
He's hoping for the improvement and possible increase in routes by early September. For now, families can continue to call the 485-RIDE hotline and the Bus Teller portal to access bus stop information.
Families need to check Bus Teller daily for updates.
Stipends will be available to most families driving their students to school, $5 a day for most families and $10 a day for free and reduced lunch families. Sign-ups start late August with payments scheduled to go out the week of September 9th.
If there are students going to multiple schools, they would be able to receive the stipend for multiple students.
Overall optimistic this year will be smoother than last year.
First day is always hard, but I feel really good about where we are at this point.
Taylor Woods, WHAS11 on your side.
The deadline to update a change of address has passed, and we are now in what the district calls a freeze period, meaning no stops can be added until after the school year starts. To get more information on your student's current bus route, you can call the JCPS Transportation Hotline. That's 485-RIDE. The district said staff members will be answering those phones between 9:30 and 4 Monday through Friday until the very first day. There's also a new Bus Teller portal, and that's for parents and guardians to see what bus stop their student is assigned to. The transportation mess at the start of last school year did play a role in Dr. Polio's annual evaluation, which the board approved just last night at their meeting. Last year, Polio was rated as exemplary or accomplished in all categories. This year, however, he says the board had one score of needing improvement under human resource leadership.
So there was one score in human resources, shortage of bus drivers, shortage of teachers. That was needs improvement, and I would believe that's rightfully so. I mean, I think we need improvement, not necessarily in the human resources department, but in human resources, and I think that was a lot about shortage of bus drivers and what happened on the first days.
The board left Dr. Polio's salary at its current amount, $350,244 for the upcoming year. Polio did not request a salary increase. Well, JCPS has increased the number of school safety resource officers on staff. Todd Kessinger, who leads security and investigations for the district, said right now JCPS has 40 sworn officers assigned to schools. He says that's up from 4 officers this time last year. JCPS also wanted to make it easier for those officers to cover 155 schools. To do that, the district split itself into 4 regions instead of last year's 3. Officers will be assigned to schools within a designated area. Jimmy Harper explained how the change will improve school safety.
But Jefferson County is so big, and it kind of just divided that, obviously, that pie into 3 sections. It wasn't doing us much good, quite honestly, because of the response times, because officers were responding. If you can picture going from PRP all the way to Eastern High School, for example, that's a long distance to travel.
Harper said all district officers are also receiving specific training for serving school campuses, including response to an active aggressor, implicit bias toward students, and providing trauma-informed care. The Jefferson County Clerk's Office and all of its branches remain closed today as it works to address a ransomware attack. It forced offices to close, leaving locals very frustrated.
I came here to get my tags renewed.
It was the last thing that I had to do
for the afternoon.
A spokesperson for the county clerk's office confirmed that ransomware attack, which means files are held hostage for money. The clerk's office was not able to disclose how much is being demanded, only saying it's working with a forensic security company to get everything restored. We spoke to U of L computer science professor Adrian Loff, who said attacks like these are becoming more common.
People are really quick to talk about the technology, but it's people behind the technology, right? So are cyber criminals getting more bold and feeling more empowered? Yes. Now, are there more people that have their entire digital lives stored on either cloud providers or local computers? Yes. Is the economic downside of a ransomware attack higher than ever before? Yes. So you got to follow the money.
Now, while the clerk's office works to get locations back open, it says you can still mail in documents or leave them at an official drop box. Reports indicate Governor Andy Beshear is one of 4 potential VP candidates being vetted by the Harris campaign. ABC News says Beshear was asked to submit vetting materials yesterday. On Monday, he said he loves his job and plans to finish his term here as governor, but left the door open for a VP run. If he does get picked by Harris, Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman would step in as acting governor. We asked her what she thinks Beshear would bring to the presidential ticket.
Well, I'm not sure I want to give him up just yet, but if I were going to make a pitch for him, I would say what I've always said about him, and that's that he has been the governor that treats every Kentucky family as his own, and certainly we need more of that in the political world.
Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams says if the governor were to resign for any reason, the powers of his office would go to the lieutenant governor. The key difference, while she'd act as the governor, she'd also still carry her lieutenant title, meaning she would not have the power to appoint a second in command. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Indianapolis today. That is her plane right there. We are waiting for her to get off of that tarmac again in Indianapolis, addressing the Zeta Phi Beta sorority, their national convention. Our Isaiah Kim Martinez will be there and bring us more coverage on our evening news. Again, a live look there from Indianapolis with Vice President Kamala Harris getting ready to deboard. Well, for the first time since exiting the race, President Joe Biden will give a primetime address from the White House tonight. You can watch it right here on WHAS 11 beginning at 8.